Brought to you by...
Imagine it. You are out, parked in the woods on a warm night. The top down, the car lit by the soft glow of the moon. In your arms is a beautiful girl with ruby lips and some ample assets. You make your move, but suddenly the car is surrounded by ravenous, shrouded creatures that blow open your fucking skull and impregnate her with a fucking weird demon seed that sprouted from the fucking ancient supernatural rock formation. Hello friends, and welcome back to ETF, where we ask the question, what happens when a caring mother loses her sanity, setting off a chain of events resulting in tragedy and murder? The story of Casey Pollock unfolds from two very different perspectives when one night in the woods culminates in absolute terror. Opening in a 50s setting, we find a young couple stalked by creeping creepers in tattered sheets with sinister smiles. The next thing we know, the boyfriend is brutally murdered, and she is as pregnant as can be. Then, the baby is delivered by the creepy creatures with long spidery clawed fingers, setting us up with so many fucking questions in such a short span of time. We jump ahead from our opening to 2015. Begging the question, what was going on over the 60-some-odd years between that opening and now? Visually, this film quickly reminded me of the look that the film Baskin had, which you can check out my review of by clicking the link there. It was extremely well lit with a very vibrant color palette. The camera work on display here conveys a strong visual style, precise lockdown camera techniques that create a highly cinematic look, capturing each setting and action with beauty and grace. Many moments throughout, however, feel very overlit and almost far too theatrical, like the entire film was shot on a soundstage rather than in the cold, snowy wilderness of an isolated cabin setting. This film uses a now standard lighting format, clashing the warm light of practical sources and cold blues to emulate moonlight. The film stars the ever-popular A.J. Bowen and Bree Grant, who recently we just saw in the film Lucky. Once again, I'm glad to see that she has shifted her career into her age, and is appearing in more films these days. She's a great actress who I have always hoped would get more work. The performances throughout are rock solid, each actor adding personality to their characters over the course of the film. There's a form of sincerity to A.J. Bowen's performance here that makes him feel at least somewhat like a caring father with a burden. Character interactions sometimes feel off, like they were attempting to go for a plucky family realism, and wound up making moments awkward and off-putting. I don't believe this was at fault of the actors, but more likely the writing. A cameo by the babe Barbara Crampton in a fake TV ad that accompanies the true crime show segments suddenly turns into a much larger role as the plot progresses. I guess if you're gonna shell out the cash for Barbara Crampton, you might as well utilize her talents. Her character quickly is portrayed as strange and not quite normal. The film makes some strange choices throughout its narrative, often leaning into visual aesthetics more than realism. We jump forward suddenly through these old TVs that are positioned one on top of the other out in the snow. This begins a series of segments that carry through the narrative. A true crime show that paints a portrait of our protagonist as a murderous mother who slaughtered her entire family in this house on this night. I think this true crime show angle might have been more effective if we had dropped the opening kill scene and kicked us off like an episode of the show, then intercut the show with the real events that we are seeing unfold, contrasting what the world believes happened with what really happened. However, this setup sort of cheapens some elements by giving away some information like certain characters' deaths early on. The design of the creepy shrouded creatures that lurk in the woods is pretty eerie and striking, Visually, I feel that their design was a good choice that doesn't quite fit the atmosphere of the snowy landscape, but kind of works in a sort of strange, displaced way. The practical effects and creature work here are incredibly well crafted to dial the creep factor up to 11, and help sell the strange, slightly Lovecraftian horror of this particular story. The deaths in this film are brutally violent and gory as fuck, and throughout I couldn't help but wonder if the thing that was causing these events was somehow alien in nature, as we do see one of our strange shrouded figures breaking away a piece of a strange rock formation, which are later used to kill and infect other characters. The way that this film was chosen to be told sort of forms a fractured narrative that makes things extremely strange and somewhat hard to follow. However, it was able to keep me very interested throughout by not giving very much information about what we are seeing happen. The tension throughout various sequences is built extremely well, as things begin to ramp up toward the weird before suddenly shifting us into the morbidly macabre at the drop of a hat. Without warning, the mind-bending horror of this story thrusts us into a maddening series of events that can only be described as unexplainable. This is definitely a story that winds our characters' struggle for survival around the descending supernatural threat that lurks within these woods. Personally, I think this one would have worked better if the film had been drawn out more, like a lingering psychological horror. It felt like it moved at too quick of a pace to properly enjoy for my taste. If the tension and dread had been given time to grow and fester, I believe it would have been far more impactful. Some elements of the story take a lot to stomach and require a fair bit of acceptance. The filmmakers, as a lot of the audience at certain moments, requesting us to accept certain things as just how it is. I'm giving Dead Night a C-. This film is a fun visual experience for sure. It provides horror fans with a grisly and violent good time with great practical creature effects that explores some interesting ideas and concepts. However, it gives away the goods right from the opening moments. Things play out exactly as we assume they will, and its plot and structure drips with originality, but I think its climax might fall short for some. I personally feel like it could have used a far better title. Dead Night just doesn't exactly do anything for me. It sounds like an average zombie movie. Thankfully, it aims to be far more than that, and does provide something far more unique.
It's all packed into Reach Out America, and it can be yours if you phone 1-800.
Hey friends, as smaller content creators, our voices often remain unheard by the majority of potential viewers. Each day we are overlooked and forgotten, much like a lot of the content I try to cover here, especially during a time as turbulent as this. However, recently I was approached by a little independent company called Black Cat Productions, and asked to be a part of a documentary experience that aims to give a voice to those of us who are often left unnoticed. Premiering on April 30th over on the Black Cat Productions channel, Lockdown will take us on a journey into the struggle of small-time content creators, and allow others like myself to share their experiences with quarantine and all the limitations it has placed upon them, inviting you to glimpse the drive and passion that has kept us all going throughout this whole ordeal. So follow this link on over to Black Cat Productions and be the first to check out this all-new documentary experience when it premieres on April 30th. Well friends, that's gonna be all for now. If you enjoyed this video, or you have suggestions for more films that you would like to see covered in the future, let us know down in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you aren't already, and click that little bell icon to be notified on all of our future content. If you want to help ETF keep making content, please consider supporting us on Patreon. You don't have to give a lot, every little bit helps us stave off the darkness, and gets you some fun little rewards at the same time. Until next time, stay safe, keep embracing film, and thanks for watching.